Welcome to Sports Fest Live on Comcast, 1026, also streamed on Facebook. I'm your host, Nunez. I'm with our producer, Alden Iwani. Our very special guest today is Roswell head football coach Jeff Lynn. His number one ranked Coyotes are 10-0 overall and the number one seed in Class 5A, and they'll be awaiting the winner of Mayfield and Gadsden next week. He's got a bye. Coach, welcome to the show. Tell us about the Coyotes.
Yeah, we're really excited about our team. Our team is led by our defense. Coach Bolaños and his staff have done a great job with those kids. We're really good up front. Our front seven are probably as good as anybody in the state, and then the back end we're really talented. We're led by that defense. We've set a school record for interceptions and turnovers, and they're just doing a great job. They do a great job of preparing, and they do a great job of communicating. And, they've really kind of taken on the personality of their defensive coordinator and Coach Bolaños, and they're tough and they're aggressive and they're prepared and just super proud of our defense. And then offensively, we're led by our quarterback. I think he's probably one of the best in the state, a kid by the name of Manny Fuentes. He can spin it. He can run. Does a great job. Very smart. He's got a couple of offers. He got a couple of offers from Eastern New Mexico, and he's got an offer from New Mexico Highlands. And then we got a big running back. We've got a running back that's 5'8", 200 pounds, Bryce Sanchez, who's a 1,000-yard rusher. And we're kind of a ground and pound football team. We run the ball first, and then set up the play action passing game. I think Manny's thrown for about 1,200 yards. So that's kind of the Roswell Coyotes in a nutshell. Just a fun group to be around and a good team.
When you talk about your defense, intercepting the ball, that tells me you're getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. And, I don't know if you're doing it by blitzing or bringing four.
And then we got a kid by the name of Mason Greathouse and Aiden Rutley. That's our starting front. And, they're doing a great job. When you can pressure the quarterback with four and stop the running back with four, that really allows you to drop into coverage, and it makes those windows a little bit tighter for the quarterback. And so, we're blessed with a great front, and then our linebacking core is really good. We're led by a kid named Keegan Nichols. There, he's an outside backer. He actually leads our teams in interception. I think he has 5, and then he's returned 2 for touchdowns. So. And then in the back end, we've got some really good safeties and some really good corners as well. And those kids are just doing a great job.
You're a two-time state champion, and you have a lot of a resume before. I mentioned that you coached at Wayland Baptist, you coached at New Mexico Military Institute. That's impressive to me because you laid some groundwork before you came to Roswell, and everybody knows you've had success at Roswell for a long time now. Talk a little bit about your early coach, Wayland Baptist. I saw that you turned that program over, and it's hard. The voice of Western New Mexico, and it's hard to win in football. It's hard. The Lone Star Conference is no joke, man. Those Texas teams are very, very good, and we're still trying to build a winner there. And we've got some good players and I think a very good coach. It's going to take some time. But talk a little bit about how it was at the college level. Wayland Baptist, you coached New Mexico Military. They're having some great success there now. You had some great success there too. You turned that program around as far as GPA and having players come out, more players come out. It's hard. It's not easy. People think it's hard. It's hard to recruit. It's not easy. Then you got to get the right ones. Talk a little bit about your college coaching experience and how it paved the way for what you're doing now at Roswell.
Yeah, and I coached at Eastern New Mexico for 4 years. I don't even think that's that. I was there. In the late 90s and early 2000s, we won 2 Lone Star Conference championships there with Coach Elliott. And, Bob, I read, you may not know this, but the head coach at West Texas A&M there in the Lone Star Conference, that's my brother. And so I'm very familiar with –
I didn't. Yeah, I did not know that.
Yeah, that's my brother, Josh. Yeah. He's only been there for a year. He just got that job last year. But very familiar with the Lone Star Conference. Spent a lot of time there. That's really where I cut my teeth as a coach, working at Eastern New Mexico under Bud Elliott. And then I was fortunate to go to New Mexico Military, and I coached with the high school there for 4 years. And then I became the head coach. And, that was a great experience. We turned that thing around. I think, we led them to their first bowl game in 11 years. And, that was a great experience. And actually, the head coach at New Mexico Military Institute right now is I recruited him to play at the institute. So a lot of ties there, and it was a great experience. The thing about New Mexico Military Institute is it teaches you how to recruit. It teaches you how to work with less, because recruiting's hard. I mean, you work with Western New Mexico, and you know how hard that is. But when you add the military component to it, where you got to tell kids they got to shine their shoes and shave their head and wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, that holds a whole nother level to the recruiting. And so I'm really proud of what we were able to accomplish at New Mexico Military Institute, and then getting the opportunity at Wayland. And then I just recruiting. When you're coaching college football, you can work 365 days a year, 10 hours a day, and you can still feel like you're being left behind. And so I wanted to spend a little bit more time with the family and raise these boys. And so I was fortunate to get this opportunity here at Roswell High. And, we've been here for 13 years, and it's been a really fun ride. So just extremely blessed to have the opportunities that I've had in football.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that's impressive. That experience. Even in a couple of weeks, Western plays Eastern for our Green Chili Bowl game that we'll have there. Western plays this week on November 4th, and then November 11th we'll play Eastern New Mexico. You always know that's always a battle. But and your brother being at West Texas A&M, and I was trying to tell people that don't understand the Lone Star Conference in Division II. It's no joke, man. Eastern's had some success. Western had a winning season for the first time since 1993 last season, and our coach Philip V. Hill bolted to CSU Pueblo. That's understandable. He got an opportunity. Our coach now is Billy Hickman, and he'll do a good job. Coach Hickman will do a good job. It's going to take a while to get, like you mentioned, those recruiting classes. And Eastern, you had some good experience there, because Eastern has had some success. They've had some very good success, and they got a beautiful stadium out there. And we're trying to get those kind of things there at Western. Our athletic director is doing a great job. But I think with your resume, and then coming to Roswell, and you've had some great success there in 13 years, two state champions, and look where you're at now, 10-0. That's a lot of great background there, Coach. And it sounds like you took a lot of your experience and what you learned at the collegiate level to high school. And a lot of guys go to college, right? And they want to stay there. But understandably, you mentioned it's 365 days a year. You even mentioned if you do it, you're spending a lot of time, and you still feel like you're being left behind.
Yeah, college football is a grind. I mean, it's I think it's only getting worse with the transfer portal. I talk to my brother all the time, and with the transfer portal, he's he used to turn over 20 to 25% of his roster every year. Now he's turning over 40 to 45% of it. And so the recruiting's even getting more of a grind. And so I think I made the right decision for my life and my kids. And, it's been a blessing. I got three boys. I got a senior, I got a junior, and I got a sophomore. The junior and the senior are starting for the Coyotes right now. Our sophomore's a backup quarterback. I've gotten to spend a lot of time with those guys, and, got to watch them play football, got to watch them play baseball. So I might get back into college coaching at some point, but at this point, I'm really enjoying what I'm doing.
I think there's nothing like being able to stand, you mentioned, see your family, see your kids, see them grow up. Talk a little bit, again, I've asked a couple of coaches, the coach at Portales, Jaime Ramirez, coaches his son over there. And, I coach my son growing up a little bit. And, you're harder on them than you are on anyone else. But, man, the experience you get to play, your kids getting to play for you, and it's got to be great and exciting. Talk a little bit about how it is for you. I mean, because everyone's different. Everyone has a different approach, but those are still your kids.
Yeah, no, it's great. And the other thing, Ed, my dad, he's 77 years old, and he's still coaching our offensive line here at Roswell High. So, awesome. Yeah, it's cool. We get to, he gets to coach his grandsons, and I get to work with my dad, and then we've got three boys in the program, and it's just great. I mean, there are some negatives to it. Me as the coach, if I chew out their their b不friend. Now their best friend's not talking to them. It can be a little hard on them at times. But because I am dad and I am coach, and sometimes it's hard to leave what happens on the practice field. A lot of times you bring that home with you, and so it's difficult. But I think ultimately, I look back at my experience playing with my dad and the experience that I've been able to have with my boys, and it's been the positive definitely outweighs the negative, and we're just super proud of those guys and our family and the football family that we have. It's been great. It's been great. Football's been great to the Lynn family.
God, Coach, think about that, man. Your dad's still at it at 77, man. That is awesome, and getting to see your dad every day and you learn from him. And now he's coaching his grandsons. Man, I can't think of anything better. It brought a big smile to my face because a lot of people think older people are of no use, right? Or they, your dad's still at it at 77. What kind of experience is that coaching with your dad?
Oh, it's great. And he's a Hall of Fame coach here in the state of New Mexico, a national Hall of Fame coach. He had stints at Texaco and Eunice and Tularosa. And the joke in our family is, when I was growing up is we kept U-Haul in business, man. We every 3 or 4 years we were going to a different town, but and he brings he brings a lot of experience, and a lot of times he brings a lot of reason. Us younger guys, we kind of get going and kind of come up with some crazy eyes, and he's the voice of reason in the room. He can kind of say, "Hey, slow down, guys." He can kind of bring a little bit different perspective to our staff, and so, I mean, it's been great having my dad around, and I think it's been great for our coaches and our coaching staff and our kids. He's still full of piss and vinegar, and he still goes out there and gets after those kids pretty good, and it's just fun. It's a fun environment.
That's got to be. Coach, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk more about this year's version of the 2023 Roswell Coyotes after these messages on the Sports Desk.
It's a fake. They have a man. It's a conversion on the fake. It's complete out wide to the big tight end, David Butler. And it's a Rams first down.
It's tough.
I'll say he stepped out of bounds at the 15. Right back to it, and he is in. Touchdown for Charles Lopez Burton.
Us has some time. Josiah Mitchell, it's intercepted. Touchdown. It'll go the distance. And Jared Meechan.
Bunch formation to the left. Cabrera, the handoff. Cabrera's got some room. Up the middle of the 45-40. Foot race to the end zone. Cabrera trying to outrace the Matador secondary. Dash drug down, touchdown, I believe. That'll be a 70-yard touchdown run, and it is. Cabrera
right alongside. Expect to be a low-scoring game. Garcia has a lot of speed. Garcia is gone. Nobody gonna catch him. Touchdown, Vikings. Daniel Garcia with breakaway speed.
Yeah. See if he can get the same sort of magic. This time he looks to his right first, then he's looking to his left. He's going to bomb this out there for Moorhead again! Jahari Moorhead! My goodness!
Kyle Evan Huss back to work on the option. He'll flip it out. Big time hole there. See you later. One play and to the house for Malachi Gutierrez. Hanson rolling. Pressure. It's coming from the side now. He's rolling, goes down the field, open man, touchdown! Elijah Hansen connects.
And that will be blocked up front, picked up, and I think we've got ourselves a return for a touchdown. Jace Henderson, the sophomore, has a million.
I don't know if I could have done that or not. Remember all those signals to give the quarterback.
Rivera throws over the middle, intercepted.
Guess
Third
who that
is there's
is?
Megan Posa.
Guess who that
Megan
is?
Posa. Posa down the right side, still on his feet down the left side now, cuts it back up to Haas. Posa may score. Posa still on his feet, dragging a tackler to the end zone, dives in, touchdown, I believe. Let's see, touchdown.
That has to be a
Megan
touchdown.
Posa.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
A burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. Welcome back to the Sports Desk Live on Comcast Channel 26, also streamed on Facebook. I'm your host, Ed Nunez. Our very special guest today, Roswell head football coach Jeff Lynn. And I'll tell you one thing, Coach, learned a lot about you, a lot more about you. You run an outstanding program there. And just hearing about your dad, we were on break, and you told me your dad is 77 and gets 8 miles on the elliptical every single day, hasn't eaten a processed sugar, you mentioned, in 10 years. And the man's a machine. I was thinking to myself, I've been feeling better about myself. I've been working out. But, man, if I could stop those processed foods and the sugars, maybe I'd be in better shape than I am now. Not too bad. I've been doing much better. But as we mentioned, what an honor it is to have your dad on that staff. You come in the locker room, you see him, you see your sons, and, you played for your dad. You mentioned that. And it's an extension. You said football has been very good to the Lynn family, and you're not kidding, Coach. I can imagine every day. And then sometimes I'm sure you have to tell your dad about a blocking scheme or maybe something that you saw, right? Football minds have to get together, and sometimes we don't always agree as coaches. And so you're the boss, and he has to listen to you like you had to listen to him. It's come full circle. But it's got to be an amazing every single day you get to do that. It's got to be great.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, it's a real blessing to have our family around and to be a part of, and to be a part of a season like this. It's really special. So,
yeah, and it's not over yet. You've got we mentioned the winner of Mayfield and Gadsden. Your team is number one. Everyone's touting Roswell as unbeatable, right? Roswell and Artesia, they're going to meet. James Yotis wrote about that, but you've got to keep your kids focused. Mayfield and Gadsden, you get the winner of that. How in doing that, there's the bracket right there. Aldony Iwani, our producers, just put it up there. And how do you keep your kids? I guess that's my question. Grounded. What we still have in front of us. It's hard not to feel confident when we've won 10. We're feeling good. It's a powerful team. Roswell's done well. And beating Artesia the way you did was an eye-opener for everybody. Artesia's got how many championships? 31? They've got 31 championships. It's a proud program. Coach Malpin does a great job. How do you keep your kids focused on what's in front of them?
Yeah, that's the trick, isn't it? I mean, it's tricky. I was funny you say that because I was talking to my brother about that this weekend, and I was talking about how do you keep these kids focused? How do you keep them from getting the big head? And his comment was to me, it's kind of funny. He said, Jeff, I wish I had your problems. And so we do have our hands full with that. I mean, I think that's, anytime that you have a season like this, you have to, and anytime you win the games that you've won the way we've won them, I mean, the tendency is for these kids to get the big head. I think Nick Saban calls it the mouse poison, or, they start eating that mouse poison. They start eating that poisonous cheese, right? They don't even know they're dying. But they're dying because, they've kind of lost that chip on their shoulder. They've lost that hunger. And so, we tried to attack that last spring. We've really worked hard on the leadership aspect, on the get better every day aspect, be where your feet are, let's focus on what's important now, and just trying to keep our kids humble. I mean, like, if you look at it, if you look at the way the bracket sets up, for us to win a championship, there's a good chance that we have to win our district again. We're going to have to beat Mayfield, maybe. We're going to have to meet Goddard, maybe, and then we'll probably maybe have to beat Artesia. And so that's tough. Because when you've already done it, these kids, kind of get the big head and start thinking that, it's going to be easy to do that again. And so, that's where we as coaches got to earn our money. We've got to really focus on making sure these kids are getting better every day and improving and challenging them to do the right things both on and off the field.
Well, if you look at your schedule, beat Lovington 45-18, Santa Fe 58-6, Hobbs 34-6, Los Lunas. Coach Hennington does a great job. There's some great pictures of your program. 34-7, Carlsbad 41-7, Clovis, who snuck in, popped Los Lunas. That was unexpected. There's a great picture either, right, Coach? Right there. Clovis 49-0, Piedra Vista 44-0, Artesia 29-8, Mayfield 48-15. You mentioned Goddard. You just beat them 38-6. And I think the thing is, when people start feeling good, I've been around athletics, I've coached too. It's tough to say, hey, we could be beat after you look at the scores. But I think with the program that you run and the way you run it, I think, everything, I'm sure, will be fine. And, they mentioned, again, lots has to happen before you and Artesia or whatever happens. Artesia has to take care of business too. So there's a lot of football left to be played. And but Coach Lynn, your brother, said a lot of people would want to have your problem, man. You're ranked 10-0, ranked number 1. Everyone is even up here in Albuquerque admires your program and the way you run it. I wanted to ask you some more. I saw your stats and the way you kind of you mentioned chunk yard plays. There's some offensive stats here that big plays over 15 yards, the pancake blocks, the knockdowns. Talk a little bit about, you've got several players with 6 plays over 15 yards or more. Again, that tells me this offense, you mentioned Manny Fuentes and your running back. This is an explosive offense to go with a stingy defense. And I'll tell you one thing, both units like that, it's tough to beat. Tell us a little bit about your offense and the explosive plays. You got 1, 2, 3 guys with 6 plays over 15 yards.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is we spread the ball around. Like we don't really have one guy. We've got multiple receivers with over 10 catches. I think the thing that we do on offense is we kind of lull you to sleep. We're going to pound the rock, and then when we do throw the ball and people start creeping up, then that's when we get those chunk plays. And we really try to play complementary football. We really try to, establish the run game, keep our defense off the field, be really good on special teams, right? And let the defense complement the offense and let the offense complement the defense. And, I think that's the formula for how we win here. People win different ways. Artesia is, they're super aggressive on defense and And, they're going to try to throw the ball over the top of you, and they're going to try to score a bunch of plays, and that's how they win. The formula for Roswell is we need to run the football, and we need to play good defense, and we need to be solid on special teams. And then when you start creeping up, we're going to try to hit you over the top with some big plays. And so that's the formula that's worked here. That's the formula that worked, in our back-to-back state championships. And I think that's the formula that works on the south side of Roswell here. So we try to stay true to what we do. And, if we can get some of those chunk plays, then that's exactly what we want to do.
Been a proven formula. Works well for you. So I did want to ask you this though: when you beat Artesia 29-8, that you mentioned Artesia, Coach Malpin, I call him the mad scientist in the lab. He's always thinking of some different plays, and you have to be ready for that. Talk a little bit about how you were able to limit that passing game. He loves to run too. He'll run out of the shotgun. He loves to do a lot of different things, and he's usually got good personnel to execute that. Talk a little bit about how you were able to only limit that you limited Artesia to 8 points in the game. Talk a little bit about your defense.
Well, I think that the thing that and the other thing, anytime you win a big game like that, you catch some breaks. We caught some breaks in that game. Some things kind of went our way, and the next time, if there is a next time that we get to play them, I don't think that we can count on those things. I think with Artesia, you just have to come to the realization that they're going to move the football. And, you just gotta, you just kind of have to let them move the football. And, when it gets to a certain point, then you got to make your stand. And so that's just kind of the approach that we took. And it worked Friday night. And then, it hasn't worked in the past too. They last year, they got on us pretty good down there at the Wool Bowl, and we were pretty good last year too. So, Artesia is always a momentum game, and it's always one of those games where, the team that gets the breaks, the team that takes care of the ball generally wins. So, if we get another opportunity with Artesia, I don't think we can count on the things that happened in the first game happening in the second game.
Coach, we'll see, but I'll tell you what, Coach Jeff Lynn, Roswell head football coach, we sure appreciate you joining us today on the Sports Desk, and we wish you the best of luck in the upcoming state playoffs.
Hey, Ed, I sure appreciate it, man. I appreciate you guys from up north giving us guys down south a little bit of time, and we're super excited about the playoffs, and we're just super appreciative of the opportunity to plug our program.
Oh, we love it, Coach. Thanks for joining us. For producer Alden Iwani, I'm Ed Nunez. We'll see you next week on the Sports Desk.